I'm sorry that I couldn't have been here for the testimony and the questions, but I wanted to get back because two of our witnesses are from Maryland. Thank you very much. When I ran for Congress 20 years ago, there was an article in Money Magazine that said that Maryland was the least attractive state in the union for retirees and business. And just the other day, I forget which entity it was, said that once again Maryland is the least attractive state in the union for business. So I wanted to come to see two really triumphant warriors. You're still making it in Maryland. Thank you very much. You know, every 6 hours, in fact, it's a little less than that, we have another $1 billion increase to our debt. And about every 12 hours, we have another $1 billion increase in our trade deficit. I know people who have been, who feel good because that dirty smokestack industry is moving overseas, and we have that nice, clean, service-based economy in our country now. And sometimes if you push something to an absurdity, you can see, gee, that ain't going to work, is it? And no matter how much you charge for cutting each other's hair and taking in each other's laundry, that's not going to be a viable economy, is it? And so what this hearing is about today is enormously important, and we have got to do something to reduce that trade deficit. I don't know which one of those two deficits will bring us to our knees first, whether the budget deficit and the increasing debt or the trade deficit. You know, when every 12 hours, another $1 billion of wealth leaves our country. Now it comes back. A lot of it comes back, but it comes back to buy us. 70% of all of our cement, about the same percent of our brick is owned by foreign countries now. So I really appreciate what you all are trying to do in increasing trade, because that will help to lower that trade deficit that we have. But one of the first things that we can do, you know, what you have to do to compete with those people over there is to compete, unless you're competing with somebody in Japan, every one of those companies pays less corporate tax than you do. We have the second highest corporate income tax in the world. It's a little tough for you to compete in a global marketplace when you start out with that deficit, isn't it? And then we have probably more regulations here than most places. There was an article that really gave me some pause, it must be a year or more ago now, and it was in a strange place. It was National Geographic. Don't know if you read it or not. But it was a story of two Chinese businessmen, a local contractor and a reporter. And they went to a shell of a building in a small Chinese town, and they were going to build a factory there. And the reporter says that the senior businessman took a scrap of paper out of his backpack and wrote an outline of the building on it and said, I'd like to put, you know, restrooms here and manufacturing here and so forth and so forth. And he timed them, and it took him an hour and 8 minutes. And he had engineered the conversion of all 3 floors of this building for a factory. And then he turned to the businessman turned to the local contractor and said, and if you don't use cheap materials and do a good job, I'll get you to do my next factory conversion. And he said, and I'd like you to start immediately. And the local contractor looked at his watch. Gee, he said, it's 2:30. Is it okay if I start tomorrow morning? Wow. How many years would it take us before we could get to that point after our environmental impact study and so forth? And I wondered, you know, just how long can we continue this fight with all of the problems that we have with the second highest corporate income tax in the world, with all of the regulations, and with the impediments to starting a new business?